There's an informal ready. I have no one else on Zoom.
What case is that?
That's Singh. Gurwinder Singh.
Gurwinder Singh, 25M621412. Gurwinder Singh. And it should be Trooper Schmidt. Mr. Singh, you have to start your video. Trooper Schmidt, you have to start your video. All right, Mr. Singh. Mr. Singh, you have to start your video, please. Mohammed Faisal, come on up here. 26B149504. All right, your name?
Mohammed Faisal.
You're going to plead to impeding, right?
Yes.
To that charge, responsible or not responsible?
Yes.
Please accept it. 165, you're all set. Cash your end of the hall to your right.
Good morning.
You got to start your video, Mr. Singh. You got to start your video. I can't do it without looking at you. Susan McNeil, 26B150236. Hamza Mokalari, have a seat at the table, and the same thing with Robert Turner. Come on up to the podium, ma'am. Tell me your name.
Susan McNeil.
You're going to plead to impeding traffic, true?
Yeah.
To that charge, responsible or not responsible?
Responsible.
Okay, I'm going to accept your plea, ma'am. $150 is your total.
Your Honor,
Mr. Singh, you have to
Your Honor,
start.
just give me, Your Honor, just give me a couple of minutes. Let me go to another room. There is so much noise in this room. Let me go to another room. Just give me a couple of minutes.
Quickly. I got the troop.
Okay, this is all Zach over at LawNerdsUnite's fault, of course. This knucklehead in the background is more fun than I anticipated.
For waiting, 150. Cash your end to your right. Thank you. Hamza Mokalari, file 25. B150101. How you doing?
Good morning.
Your name?
My name is Hamza Mokalari.
You're going to plead to impeding. They're going to dismiss the speeding, true?
Yes.
To the charge of impeding, responsible or not responsible? Please accept it. 150. Cash your end of the hall to your right, and you're all set. Good luck.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Robert Turner. 26W841-223. Your name?
Where are the armed men who come in to take the big dummies away?
You're going to plead the impeding. You're going to dismiss the failure to yield. Says no injuries, minor damage. You got to be careful, though. To that charge, impeding traffic, responsible or not responsible? 205, please accept it. Failure to yield's dismissed. You can go down the hall and make your payment. Good luck. Thank you. Heather Marie Timmons. 24T642857A. Ma'am, your name?
Heather Marie Timmons.
You've got a charge of violation of probation here. It is alleged that you did fail to refrain from violating a law, being convicted of drug paraphernalia possession on December 10 through the 27th District Court. If you plead guilty or if you're found guilty, this is a violation of law. You could be incarcerated on this charge, which you pled to operating while impaired for a period of 93 days. Do you understand that? Did you sign the advice and rights and read and understand the rights?
I didn't.
I just want to know if you understand these rights.
I think I do.
Well, did you read them?
Yeah.
Did you understand? Well, if you don't understand something fully and completely, I want to explain it to you. Do you understand all these fully and completely? If you don't, I'll cover them with you.
I'll read here.
You are presumed innocent. You have the right to a hearing. They have the right at that hearing to cross-examine.
Oh, that look of disgust. I love it.
And your witnesses, you have the right to testify or remain silent. If you remain silent, that silence would not be held against you. If you plead guilty, you're giving up all those rights, and we're not going to have a hearing of any kind. Do you understand that? Mr. Singh, you got to pull over. If you're in a truck, you pull over. Got it? I'm not.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. I'm just finding a safe place. Just 5 minutes.
Hey, I'm not giving you long. You should have been. Your case was scheduled for 10. Wasn't it?
Yeah, it was 10. I was actually in the meeting
Pull
first,
over,
but then-
Mr. Singh.
then-
Pull over. You're presumed innocent. You have the right to testify or remain silent. They have to prove by a preponderance of the evidence that you're guilty here. You have the right to question their witnesses, to bring in your own, to use the subpoena powers of the court to bring in those witnesses, and to
Mr. Singh is the undeniable star of this show.
testify or remain silent. And if you remain silent, that silence would not be held against you. Do you understand that?
Yeah,
Hang on, slow down. I don't know why you want to keep talking. I can understand. I know you want to keep talking, but you're trying, you want it. You can't wait to tell me something. What is it? You shouldn't be talking about this case
I'm
then.
just saying that, I don't know that, right now, like, because I don't know if this is relevant before you finish that.
Well, why don't you talk to a lawyer? I'm going to tell you.
This one,
Hang on, slow down. I'm going to tell you have the right to a lawyer. We got lawyers out here that can talk to you and represent you. Would you like a lawyer to represent you?
I'm hiring a lawyer. They adjourned, one guy adjourned, because I'm getting a lawyer. I withdrew my plea and,
They allowed you to withdraw your plea?
sorry,
They allowed you to withdraw your. Hang on.
so there was nothing I could do.
Don't talk about that case. You filed a motion in front of Judge DeSanto, and she said you can withdraw your plea. Are you sure?
Yes, she adjourned it till the 18th, I believe it was 18th at 11.
I'm going to enter a not guilty plea. I'm going to go ahead and set this for a probation violation hearing.
And I'm going to take it up with DeSanto at the Wyandotte Swingers Club later. But I'm not going to say that on the record.
I'll note you're going to hire them. You said it's the 18th?
Yes.
Give me a date right after the 18th, if you would, Heather. Ma'am?
Okay. You want to do March 3rd, Judge?
Is that a problem?
What day, what'd she say?
March 3rd.
Sorry?
March 3rd.
Sure. What day is that?
March 3rd. Not being a what?
It's a Tuesday.
Tuesday.
At what time? It's in the morning, I'm assuming. So then, yes, I'm available.
Okay. I want to make sure you're available.
That March 3rd bit was fun.
March 3rd at what time?
8:45.
At 8:45. Okay? Is that all right with you?
Yes.
All right. We'll see you March 3rd at 8:45. And I'm going to expect you to have a lawyer in here with you then, right?
Yes.
You said you're going to hire your own, right? And you could afford your own, right? All right. Good enough. Good luck. Go down the hall, get your notice. Gurwinder Singh, 25M621412. Mr. Singh, I don't dislike the Giants, but you're going to have to take your hat off and tell me your name. Mr. Singh,
Hello?
take your hat off. You have a hat on. You have to take your hat off. Am I just crazy or what is going on? Mr. Singh, can you hear me? Mr. Singh, take your hat off. Libya, Page, Merkel. 260-647-306. Drew Deshaun Grayson, 25G.
Does Singh come back? I got to know.
719663. Where is Mr. Singh at? Have we seen him back here, Heather? I'm not going to keep the trooper waiting all day.
He's not logged back in, Judge.
He's not?
He has not.
Your name?
Good morning, Durwood Hinsburg, Mr. Grayson.
You don't want this nonsense on your record. You got a domestic violence plea, and the conviction will enter if you keep doing this. Give me a date about 6 weeks out, Heather.
It'll be March 17th.
Have we heard from Mr. Singh? March
guess he
7th.
logged-
March 17th at 8.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you.
Go down the hall, get your notice. Thank you. Have we heard from Mr. Singh?
I guess he logged back into Judge Hessen for some reason, and they told him to come here, and he has not shown up yet.
What is going on? I'm not keeping this trooper here another minute. Who told him that?
He logs back in and goes to Hessen after he talked to the judge 5 times.
He did. She's watching the Zoom over in Judge Hessen's courtroom.
Call Carl and tell him if
Oh, I'm sorry, Carl. No, chat. I'll give him.
I'm. I mean, that's not fair to him. Nicole Marie Arban, please accept it. Speed's dismissed. 150. You're all set.
Thank you.
I'm going to go ahead and enter a default against Mr. Singh. We're not babysitters. Gurwinder Singh, 25M621412. Trooper, your name.
Investigator Schmitzer.
I'm going to indicate defendant logged on. We lost him. He logged on to Judge Hessen's. Don't be surprised if I reset this, Trooper. I mean, it's not right, but I'm going to go ahead and enter a default at this time. I mean, you've been sitting here for 40 minutes now. The case was scheduled for 10. Defendant logged in. He wasn't stopped. That's it. Default judgment entered. Thank you very much. If you have a phone number and he comes in, chat with him, Heather, and get his phone number in case this guy comes in here any minute. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you,
And
sir.
we call you then, Trooper, as long as it's real soon. Melinda,
No problem.
Behavior is never tolerated on Law Talk with Mike. You talk like that, they put you in conjugation camp. Right away. No trial, no nothing. You ax instead of ask. Straight to camp, no appeal. You quote a statute of law instead of a statute. Conjugation camp. You tell a judge, all objections instead of I object. Camp. Do not pass go. Do not collect the $200. You tell the police you didn't do nothing. Straight to camp. Then to jail. You start every sentence with bro. Bro, welcome to conjugation camp, bro. Pronouncing your name can, days, when it's Candice. Extra camp. Telling the judge you want to dumber down the ticket. Because it's a far city and a miss malice of justice. No conjugation camp. No jail. Execution. Law Talk with Mike does not play.
Morning, you're Devin Spites. And Mr. Spites was previously in court, entered a plea of guilty to the 3rd-degree felony offense of theft of property. I've received that pre-sentence report. Has everyone had an opportunity to review the report? Are there any additions or corrections?
Not to the information. I would like to be heard on the recommendations of the judge.
Well, let's start on the fact that he denied it. So he denied the offense. So I'm not sure about accepting the plea agreement. So I don't know if you want to visit with him about that statement and what he meant or didn't mean by that. But we'll talk about the recommendations once he pled guilty, so he can't not take responsibility now. You want me to hold it for a minute while y'all go over that and visit about it?
I can speak with him about that.
Okay, I'll hold it.
Judge, I had on my file, even though it doesn't reflect on the PSI, that he pled true to paragraph 2, which I think this is
It would make it a what?
second.
Oh, okay. I'll look back and make sure of that as well, so that can you look, pull up the plea papers on,
Oh, I can see one here.
Devin Spites? And I can look at the indictment and tell from here. Yep, you're correct, Ms. Malfino. It's on the, indictment. I wrote it down. Ms. Hawkins, are you ready on, let's see, Mr. Spites?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Oh, well. All right. Again, you're Devin Spites. And so now that everybody's had an opportunity to visit about the pre-sentence report, Ms. Hawkins, is there anything? Anything you want to add? Sorry. That's
I spoke to Mr. Spice outside. He informed me that he was nervous in his interview, but he is taking full responsibility for what he has pled to, the theft, and he has advised me that he understands that he is guilty.
Okay.
He doesn't really know why he said that other than just nervous.
okay.
As far as the recommendations, Your Honor, the recommendations do include ISF. Judge Mr. Spites he's not from Jefferson County. He doesn't live in Jefferson County. He does not frequent Jefferson County. And I do want to bring the court's attention. The only reason we are before you in this court is because the penal code does allow jurisdiction in the counties where a person has stolen goods. So he was pulled over going down I-10, passing through Jefferson County. I think that's important because what his actions did was they did not affect the people of Jefferson County in a direct way. And I think that's something that should be considered when placing someone on community supervision in the community where they are charged with a crime.
What?
I think it's important that his actions.
Nonsense. Absolute nonsense. It's not a function of how much. Oh, God. First of all, I dispute the premise, but second of all, it's irrelevant.
Did not occur in Jefferson County in this case. He has a delicate situation right now, Judge. He has 5 children who are very, very small. I think 3 of them are babies or still infants. Additionally, as the PSR shows, he has pending cases in Fort Bend right now.
He's got 5 children with 4 baby mamas, Judge. He cannot be incarcerated, period.
He's going to court on those cases. He's dealing with that.
He's not supporting any of them. Oh, no. But still, you should feel sorry for him for some reason.
I think having him in ISF is going to create much more of a stressful situation for him in providing for his children and dealing with those cases and resolving everything he has going on than it would to help him. And I think the point of community supervision is to help the people who enter into it. He's willing to do all the other conditions of community supervision.
They did do a nice job of dressing him up like a nerd, which is a good play for court. But it doesn't work, so it's funny.
Drug testing and all that. I think that if ISF was recommended partially because of him admitting to marijuana use. He's willing to.
If I test you this morning, you gonna have it in your system? Have a seat in the jury box. Let's check you. Then we'll go forward. Miss.
The effect is he just looks like a thug that dressed up like a nerd for Halloween. That's what it looks like. Which actually makes it worse, but it's a nice try.
Hawkins and Miss Malfino on Devin Spites. All right, so Mr. Spites tested positive for THC, and so obviously sometime within the last 30 days or so, he's used marijuana, because typically that's how long, which means that he used marijuana after he pled guilty on a felony. He pled to an enhanced second degree. I've got pages of criminal history here.
If you didn't know, y'all stink. Okay, that's just my opinion.
And you would think, Mr. Spites, that based on what Ms. Hawkins is telling me about your family situation and your children, that you would be able to figure this out on your own and stay clean so that you didn't, number one, go to prison. I don't even have to accept this plea agreement. I mean, you've got 3 prior convictions. A state jail felony from 2019. From 2019, credit debit card abuse from 2021, and then an unlawful possession of a firearm in 22.
Oh, these are just the 5 he knows about, by the way. There are a lot more.
None of those cases did you receive probation, which is probably why Ms. Malfino made that offer to try to get you on the right track. And Ms. Hawkins did a great job of getting you a probation offer on your case or cases.
If I may,
Yeah.
part of the reasoning behind that offer that Ms. Hawkins and I discussed was that jurisdictional type issue that she addressed with the court, and also the fact that there ended up being no restitution that's owed to any individual.
Okay. And I appreciate that argument that Ms. Hawkins made, but it's also important, and I would hope that other judges in other counties would find it just as important, that if you're going to get charged, wherever you're going to get charged, that they take into consideration that just because you didn't steal from someone in our county, you stole from someone in some county, right? And so we got you here, but somebody's a victim. And it's important to me, and hopefully important to every judge in the state of Texas, that we kind of look out for each other in each other's counties. So I get that you were just traveling through, probably lucky that we got you, because who knows what would have happened at that point if you ever would have gotten caught. And that's not fair, no matter what county the crime is actually committed in. Does that make sense? Based on everything that is being offered to you, and
You, sir, are a menace to the people of the great state of Texas. Any way you slice it. So anybody who picks you up, that's a win.
and what the pre-sentence talks about with regard to drug usage. The only way I'm going to go forward with this is with some inpatient ISF up front. So it's not necessarily meant to be a punishment. It will probably feel like it a little bit, but if you're going to be successful in the rest of your life and be there for your children, then you got to figure out how to stay clean and make some better decisions. So that's what's going to happen today. Any reason not to go forward with sentencing at this point?
No, Your Honor. No, Your Honor.
Just my only concern with that is
Uh-oh. All right. Tell me if Tope shows up.
the other pending cases in Fort Bend and Jackson County. I don't know why I simply take it.
What are the court, or do you represent them in Fort Bend?
Not
And-
Fort Bend, Judge. I have his attorney's information up there.
And what about the Harris County,
I do
that
represent him.
evading?
I do represent him in Harris County.
I just don't, I'm trying to think of logistically, because I mean, one thing that I can do, I'm just not inclined to let Mr. Spites walk out today on a probation when he tests positive with this kind of history and with technically 4 felony cases pending in 3 different counties. So,
I have to ask Judge, my next question was going to be, is there typically a report date that could be given for ISF from the attorney's
No.
office for it?
mm-mm. Nope. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to order it. And then once he's in custody, if you'll let obviously Harris County know that he is in custody. And if they will put a hold on him and come get him, I'll release the ISF hold while he goes and takes care of with that. Same thing with Fort Bend. But then if those are going to be probations or whatever happens, we'll put our hold back on once he's gone. So that when he finishes those counties, we've still got him for ISF. Sometimes what happens if that process takes a really lengthy time, then potentially if I feel like it's a good enough time, then I can hold that at abeyance at that point and require something like JCDI, which is outpatient. But based on the positive drug screen today and based on this criminal history and what all is pending, he's not walking out of here today. So we'll do it that way. If you'll get with his attorney in Fort Bend County, the sooner they get something set and get a hold on him, the better. Okay, that way he can get transferred, get those cases taken care of.
And I'll reach out to those DA offices, Judge.
Perfect.
Maybe with the court's order, they would be willing to negotiate their
Something
cases.
quickly.
Yes.
So, Mr. Spites, I'm going to find that you previously entered your plea of guilty freely and voluntarily. Find sufficient evidence to find you guilty. I'm going to follow the agreement that you made with the district attorney and defer all proceedings and place you on probation for 5 years. You're ordered to pay a $500 fine. There is no restitution. And you're ordered to enter and successfully complete. Mr. Spites, talk to her in a minute. Just listen to what I'm saying, okay? You're ordered to enter and successfully complete the substance abuse track of the ISF program. And if you do all of this, this is a great opportunity for you. I know it doesn't feel like it today, but you have a great opportunity in this case, number one, without another felony conviction, and to be able to serve any sentence while you're out on probation. I want you to make sure you understand, though, what the consequences could
Yeah, Judge West is excellent. I really like her more and more as I see her.
be if you violate this probation. So if you choose to smoke marijuana again or not show up for an appointments or whatever it is, then you're looking at not just a sentence of the theft of property, which is the 3rd-degree felony. You pled to an enhancement, which means if you violate, you could be found guilty and sentenced to prison for anywhere between 2 years and up to 20 years. So I'm trying to keep that from happening and give you some tools so you can be successful. I'm handing you the trial court certification that shows this was an agreement. I followed it, and so you've waived your right to appeal.
I love it. That's so good. It's so good. She's dropping the hammer on him, but couching it in terms that she's doing him a favor. She's right. I agree with her. She actually does. This is a little too deep, but she actually walks a very good line. If you ask me, she's very competent, very good, and she can be tough, but she does all that while still acting like, while still maintaining some femininity. It's not an easy tightrope to walk. It's impressive.
You can go back with the bailiff. Miss Hawkins can visit with you back there, okay? Yes, sir.
The fact that, all right, y'all taking me in. That means like I can't get out from here. How can I get out so I can be able to handle Fort Bend?
We're going to let them know that you're in custody, and they'll come transfer you over there from our custody.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to understand. Okay, if I'm on bond with them, like how would that work?
Miss Hawkins can explain it to you, okay? All right, you can go back with the bailiff. Thank you, Miss Hawkins and Miss Walking now.
Conflict does exist, given the waivers, the court will consent to hear the matters. Court does call the case of the people versus, is it Quadir Man? Call.
Ellie's on behalf of the people, Your Honor.
Quadir Man.
Ron Brown appearing on behalf of Mr. Mann.
Your name, sir?
Quadir Man.
Thank you. What are we doing?
Your Honor, I'd ask the court to set the final settlement conference. Is that for Friday?
Would the people be ready if I said it that quick?
That's fine, Your Honor.
Jury final settlement conference will be February 6th, is it? 2026 at 9 a.m. Jury selection, if necessary, would be February 9th, 2026 at 8:30. Both of those proceedings are in person.
May I address bond, Your Honor?
You may.
Your Honor, my client obviously is currently housed at the Washtenaw County Jail. There was some problems with his bond and you revoked it.
There was problems with bond or his behavior?
Behavior while on bond.
That's correct. He was violating his no contact or by contacting a victim from jail, which he is continuing to do from someone else's PIN. I don't know this to her listed number, and she identifies them by name.
This catches counsel by surprise, Your Honor.
I'm sure it does.
Because my information is his phone privileges were revoked. And
which is why he's trying to use somebody else's PIN. And now it's going to be the next step for the jail where he's just going to be completely isolated.
This is all new to counsel. He spent his birthday in jail. he has a special needs daughter that he is supporting, Your Honor.
Oh, boo-hoo. I'm not knocking a special needs daughter, but him, come on. No sympathy. Don't care.
He was gainfully employed at the
Mr. Brown, I will be more than happy to listen to you, but I'm not going to do anything if he's continuing this contact.
Message received, Your Honor.
So at this point, motion for bond reduction or any change is denied. Bond will continue. Thank you.
We'll see you Friday, sir.
Today, Caleb Jubert. Good morning, you're Caleb Jubert. And Mr. Jubert, you've got 2 cases. Were you able to get someone hired? Speak up, please. Who'd you talk to? Speak up. Say the first one. Hand it to the bailiff. So did you talk to him or somebody talked to him for you?
Oh, good Lord. We've got a hoodie with scripture on it. Which is fine in and of itself, unless you're using it as manipulation in your criminal case.
So are you do you go to MHMR Spindletop? No? What's that written on here for? You don't know? So are you working? Why not? You don't know? Where have you been looking?
I haven't seen work for me. But I have seen my ID. I ain't his ID.
Do you have your ID now? Okay. If I test you this morning, you gonna have anything in your system? Have a seat. Let's double check that. Mr. Jubert?
She won't $50, so just
I'm sorry?
she refused.
Okay, that's fine. I'll do the plea in just a minute.
I like the camo snowsuit in the background. This is becoming quite the fashion call here.
How old are you, Mr. Jubert? 18 was the last time you smoked dope. What? Last week? What made you think that was a good idea with 2 felonies pending to come be smoking marijuana? You don't know? And you're not working. Obviously, you know that's a violation, number 1, of the law and of your bond conditions, right? Speak up. How do you think you're going to get a job if you're smoking marijuana? What? You quit last week? Wow, congratulations. You realize how ridiculous that sounds to say I quit last week?
I think I'm in love with Judge West. I really do.
Mr. Jubert, I'm going to find today that obviously that is a violation of your bond conditions in each of your cases. I'm going to raise the bond in each of your case because of that violation. Let me see what they were previously at. In cause number 25 DCCR 1130, I'm going to raise your bond to $15,000. And I'll go over conditions of both of the bonds in just a minute. And then in cause number 25 DCCR 1131, Going to raise your bond in that case also to $15,000. Condition, if you make the bonds in both of those cases, is that you have to have a drug patch on at all times. You have 24 hours from the time you make a bond to get a drug patch put on. The drug patch is something that goes on your arm. Your bondsman can tell you where to get them. You have to have them changed every 2 weeks. If they test positive, then obviously I'll know you're still using marijuana and you haven't actually quit. You're going to go right back into jail with much higher bonds. I would anticipate if you make these bonds quickly that the first patch might be positive, but the patches are going to show me an amount, not just a positive or a negative. So if that amount is not going down, then I'm going to assume also that you're still using. Do you understand? All right, go back with the bailiff.
There you go. Let's see. Let's see. An offer to dismiss 2 tickets, B and C tickets, no play and failing to produce proof of insurance. Also offering an amended charge to allowing an unlicensed person to operate a motor vehicle. That carries a penalty of up to 93 days in jail and or a fine of up to $500, but does not carry licensing sanctions. It's alleged to have occurred December 9th, 2025 in Flint Township. Do you understand that charge?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you hear the rights that I went through at the beginning?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand those rights?
Yes, sir.
How do you wish to plead?
Guilty.
Is it true that on this date, time, and location, you're guilty of allowing an unlicensed person to operate a vehicle by actually driving with a suspended license on that date? Is that true?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Have you gotten your license back by chance?
I'm trying. It's just financial trouble and
Okay.
registration denials is stopping me from getting my car registered. So I can't get insurance. So then I got to fill out this packet and send it to Lansing because I think the attorney told me back in 2018 or 2021, Flint, Grand Blanc Township pulled me over. Didn't find weed in the car, didn't smell it. They sent the dog to sniff the car, didn't find it. He hit me with the driving under the influence only because my eyes was red.
Okay.
And I did let him know that I just got off work. I'm heading home, and I'm tired. I literally was tired, and I wasn't high. I wasn't driving, smoking weed. I just got off work and I was heading home, and he hit me with driving under the influence, and that's what's stopping me from getting me. Okay. Yeah, that's what's stopping everything right now.
All right. On this date, let me just try to help you out too. Did you spend any time in jail? Did they take you to the jail or anything?
He didn't. So he didn't tow the car. He didn't search the car.
No, I'm talking about this. When you got pulled over for the suspended license.
Yeah. He didn't search the car. Okay. He didn't take the car. Yeah. I asked him what was the reason for the stop. He didn't tell me until basically when he walked up to the car. I kept it honest. I told him I don't have a license. I don't have insurance, and I have the wrong plate on my car. I kept it. I told him.
So you just told him.
I told him that. Yes, I told him that just so he could. Just I'm like I'm going through things. I do not need this car took. I get back and forth to work right now with it, and I know I don't supposed to be driving it on the street.
Did I just hear him say, "I don't need this car took"? Please tell me I did not hear that. I'm not sure. I don't even want to go back.
Clearly said that to him. So he didn't tow the car. He told me that he's in Christmas spirit, and he just wrote me the 3 tickets.
Okay. All right.
Oh, que milagro. It's the Christmas spirit.
That's okay. So do you understand if I accept your guilty plea, you won't have a trial of any kind. You'll give up all the rights that you would have a trial, and you may be faced with those penalties.
Yes, sir.
Has anybody made any threats or promises to cause you to plead guilty?
No.
No? Okay. I'll accept guilty plea to allowing an unlicensed person to operate. I've dismissed the B and C tickets. Order $125 fine and cost or 12 days jail. Set show cause for April 13th.
Yeah, I have it paid before then.
Okay.
Cause I'm at work now, but they made me clock out until I get done with the Zoom call.
Okay, well, let's get you back to work then. Just get it paid by that date and that'll take care of it, okay?
All right, thank you so much.
All right, you're welcome. Good luck to you.
Zoom?
Yep.
Oh, from the jail.
Yep.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought we were waiting for him to be brought over.
Oh, they had to get him in the room.
Okay, all right, thanks. All right, you ready, Nancy?
Yes.
All right, we are back on the record now. Taking up next, the case
I haven't seen this, but it already has potential.
of people of the state of Michigan versus Isaiah Thomas Baldwin. The case number here is 26-3661FH. Appearances from counsel, please.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. I'm Robert Ringstrom, Assistant Prosecutor for Missaukee County.
Robert Hartzell for Mr. Baldwin, who joins us by Zoom from the jail. I am filling in for Mr. Champion, Your Honor, who is on vacation today.
All right, Mr. Baldwin appears today via Zoom from the Missaukee County Jail. Mr. Baldwin, are you able to see and hear the court?
Yes, Your Honor, I can.
All right, thank you. All right, we're here today for a motion to modify bond that has been filed by the defense. Mr. Hartel, I have reviewed your motion. Anything, I'm sorry, hold on, Mr. Ringstrom, I don't think I saw any, any written response.
No, Your Honor.
That's okay.
Just about getting this.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that I didn't miss something else. Mr. Ringstrom, floor is back to you.
Thank you, Your Honor. After regrouping, I'll just call my client for dates purposes. When I regrouped with my client earlier, he is still motivated in doing this. As the court did note, we did file that motion. I think the people for waiving time limits on such, if I understand how that went down correctly. My client does have a bed lined up at Addiction Treatment Services starting on the 17th. He's highly motivated to participate in that. We do anticipate a plea later in the month. I won't go into too much details about that today because I do want to focus mostly on his desire to go to treatments. He does realize that a lot of his issues in life, and I won't overly allocate because some of that's better reserved for the pending plea and potentially the pending sentence, but he does want to be a better person, not only for himself, but also for the people associated with this file. I'll phrase it that way. He wants to be a better person for everyone. And he realizes that alcohol is the main catalyst for that. And upon reviewing the report, the photos, everything in there, I'm not disagreeing that alcohol definitely appears to be that catalyst. He was definitely very honest with me today, some of which I do believe is protected by the attorney-client privilege, so I won't go into that detail. But I truly do believe he's a good candidate. I do believe that he does qualify, and I would ask the court to approve it. I don't believe that people plan to object. Thank you.
Mr. Ringstrom?
He is 27 years old, racking up a pretty big criminal history. I probably agree that alcohol probably has an awful lot to do with it, but I mean, at some point in time, he's got to just be able to get it. I am not arguing against the idea that there's a potential plea that has been on the table. The motion indicated that it was this to count one. The last offer was count one as a HAP 3, not just no HABs or anything like that. Guidelines.
As a DV third, or did you say as a,
third.
okay, not as a HAP 3?
No, DV third as a HAP 3.
Oh, that was the offer.
That was the offer that was on the table. Guidelines for that, we anticipate would have been 14 to 29. And we were going to, depending on if the court went along with it also, be willing to allow a delay in this to give him that rehabilitation chance. Any offer that we realistically would make would give him a prison sentence due to his criminal history and the situation. The facts of the case, although I want to point out there was a knife that was involved that had nothing to do with the actual assault.
In fact, he allegedly grabs the knife and he hurts himself, but there was no threatening behavior with that knife. What the facts mainly come down to is he was hitting his girlfriend and the kids started getting involved and he pushed the kids away as well.
He hit the kid. I took a brief moment and I reviewed the of the evidence. There was a knife involved. There was issues with his wife, contact, and there was also an allegation that he slapped the son.
Yes, Your Honor, those are the allegations as far as it goes. We have had communications with the victim in this, although she still wants to make sure there's still no contact or anything like that. She indicates that she is glad that he is trying to seek rehab purposes.
When it comes to the statement by the significant other here, without her here and me being able to see how she makes statements, how she acts, the nonverbal cues, I'm not going to give that anyway. So let me tell you, I can tell you this. You've just told me that if he scores a domestic third, the minimum end, without the halves, is a straddle cell with 14 months. So I can almost guarantee you, well, let's say it this way. You'd be spitting uphill into a steep wind coming down that hill for me to give a delay. And I'll tell you why. His criminal history began when he was 17 in 2015. He started with crimes of dishonesty. They were financial transaction device stealing. At the same time, he picked up another property case involving a breaking and entering. Now, he was given HYTA status then in 2015, and it was revoked within the next year. And while he was on probation after that, he still had multiple probation violations. In 2016, he got caught operating a vehicle without a license and without insurance, which means he'll do what he wants when he wants to get away, thinks he can get away with stuff. And there was an alcohol drinking and driving as a minor. Looks like he did make it about, when he finally got off of that probation, he did make it about 15 months, but he was back in trouble. And this time was his first domestic violence case in 2019. Right around the time he turned, well, he would have been about 20. He would have just been before his 21st birthday. Now that case, he still hasn't paid all of his fines and costs yet, still. Then we look, that alleged offense occurred on April 29th of 2019. Before they could charge him, the very next day, on April 30th of 2019, he picked up a second domestic violence. He had two going on at the same time. And that case is still open because he hasn't paid all his fines and costs as well. Now, while those cases, actually before he could even get arrested on those, on May 13th, 2 weeks after the first and second one, 2 weeks, he picks up his third domestic violence case. So he had three going on at one time. Case, by the way, is still open because he hasn't paid all of his fines and costs. 2019 and on June 16th, he picked up a meth case. He has a violation. Looks like he's got a violation pending there, according to the Department of Corrections. I don't know what it's for, but it does say that he's currently on probation for that. Well, he was on probation for about 13 months, violated it, picked up his fourth domestic violence. Okay. And by the way, we're talking largely the same victim here. Then he picks up another case. This one's a drivable license suspended, and not a big case, but anyways, he had that case going on. Now, in those cases, especially in the last case, and the last one he had was in front of Judge Fagerman. Looks like he was sentenced October 10th of 2020. And the conduct in that case was not good. I think this is the one where he drove her to the end of a road, threw out her phone, wouldn't let her call, and he picked up an unlawful imprisonment and a domestic violence third. So, again, I don't find that the defendant's guilty of the current charges. I don't have any evidence. It's not before me at the time, but I am allowed to consider his prior performances and the alleged allegations here. Yeah, the answer is no. He will stay right there. And if he does plead and you ask for a delay, don't. I'm telling you right now, if this comes up and you've got a delay.
That was a long way of saying that'll be a no.
And he pleads to a domestic violence third as a felony. And if the story is kind of what you all say, there's no way I would I'm sorry, I can't say no way because we're not here making that argument today. Maybe you'll come up with something great. Maybe the victim will come in and entice me, but you're already against the grain. Domestic violence. He has been convicted repetitively at the age of 27. And this is his, what, fifth charge? Fourth or fifth?
It'd be his fourth, I think.
Yeah. No, well, anyways. And it involves the same woman. And now there's an allegation he's slapping his son, who, from what I can figure, has got to be about 5. No. He can stay right there. He can talk to Catholic Human Services about any addiction problems he has. Thankfully, I've gone to great lengths to help get money from the counties to pay for Catholic Human Services to provide treatment inside the jail. So, and maybe I also have no information. I don't remember if there was alcohol. No, maybe there was drinking in this, but anyways. Yeah, so the answer is no, the motion is denied. You will sit there until this case, until he either posts bond or there's a resolution to the case where he's required to be released. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We are adjourned.
All right, ma'am, are you Miss Precord Melancone? And sir, are you Mr. Melancone? Yes, sir. Sir, you can come up to that table. Ma'am, you can come up to that table.
This is Alyssa's fault.
Please be seated. Today we actually have case exciting and new later this afternoon, but we can take care of them both here this morning. So you don't have to come back. We have file number 2615004, which is personal protection action. And then we have 2514949, which is a divorce action. The record should reflect both parties are present here in the courtroom today. And with regard to the personal protection order, Mr. Was it Melancone or Melancon?
Melanchon.
Melanchon. Okay. Wasn't even close. All right.
I'm used to it.
This is your motion today. You're asking the court to terminate the personal protection order. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And so that was entered by this court back in January. Ms. Precourt, are you asking that order to remain in place?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So what we're going to do for purposes of that part of things today, and we'll talk about the divorce file in a little bit. But what we're going to do for purposes of the personal protection order, Ms. Precourt, is it okay if I refer to you as Ms. Precourt? Yes. Okay. Because you obtained that order without the court getting Mr. Melancone's side of things, then the burden is on you to go forward today and to show the court why you believe this order needs to stay in place. So I'm going to be placing you under oath, and you can give me your testimony as to why you think it needs to stay in place. You need to show the court by a preponderance of the evidence, or that's just tipping the scales one way or the other, 51% to 49%. That's a preponderance of the evidence standard. You have to show the court by that preponderance of the evidence that there are circumstances that require this order to remain in place. Okay. So because she has the burden of proof, then she will give her testimony first. Then, sir, I'll put you under oath. You'll have an opportunity to tell me what you think is important. I did read through your motion, so I'm familiar with the information that you put in there, just to let you know. And Ms. Freeport, of course, I read through again your petition and the circumstances that you cited for asking the order and for the order in the first place. So after you give your testimony, sir, because Ms. Freeport has the burden here, she'll have an opportunity to respond to anything that you have to say, and then the court will make its ruling as to whether the order stays in place, whether it should be modified in some way, or whether it should be terminated altogether. So we're recording this in case we need to make a transcript later, so it's important that we don't talk over each other. I'll try not to interrupt either of you when you're telling me, giving me your testimony. I may stop you if I feel you're going into an area that's not relevant or not important to my decision. I may stop you and try to redirect you, but otherwise I'll give you both a reasonable opportunity to tell me what you think I need to know. I'll just ask that you don't interrupt me either. Any comments that you have should be directed towards me here at the bench. Please don't address each other across the aisleway there at the tables. Ms. Precourt, do you have any questions at all?
No, I do not.
Sir, do you have any questions?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, so if you both would raise your right hands, please. Do you both solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. You can lower your hand. Okay, so Ms. Precourt, can you tell me why you believe this order needs to remain in place?
I had given a reason listed attached with a personal protection order. Initially, Rob and I, we've been together for over 11 years. I had filed for divorce last fall. At the time when I filed for divorce, we were still living together. We kind of had a mutual understanding that we would respect each other's space. I moved up. We work a lot of hours, so it was kind of to and from, going. We would kind of run into each other and talk a little bit and stuff. At the initial time of divorce, I just pretty much said, you have your stuff, I have my stuff, in reference to bills, which I don't necessarily need to get into that. We had an agreement. Moving forward, he was starting to have some issues with accepting the divorce.
We have an
wanting to
agreement.
talk. He was openly expressive about having some mental health issues. And, I just kept saying, look, I'm sorry, but this is kind of what's needed. By all means, go on, do what you need to do. And anyways, as it progressed, the conversations and whatnot progressed. He had tried contacting me one night. I was unavailable, did not take his phone call. He had left a text message, and there's also audio recordings from voicemail that he had left. And it had stated on here, and I also have a photo of what he had said, that he almost killed himself, that he was on his knees crying to let it all end, that he'd never been so close. He wished he had the strength to do it, and that life would be easier with everyone if he wasn't around. Amongst me missing, I didn't go through the house every day to notice
Oh,
things
that was
that
killed
may
himself.
have been there, may have came up missing, but on the 14th, I had came home from working an overnight shift and looked, and the firearms that we had in the homes, there were 5 were gone. I had reached out to him, asking him where they were. He wouldn't give me the information other than that they were his guns and I didn't need to worry about it. Amongst the conversations, messages and whatnot that he had left for me, he had made remarks to my family members also, stating that he was wanting to, in ways, roundabout ways, end his life. That life would be better without him. So moving forward, there came a time when he had came to the house, and it resulted from his cell phone being shut off. He had, I had called, asked him when he'd be able to pay the bill. He started getting kind of aggressive with me. I hung up the phone, and in turn, he ended up leaving a voicemail message, which I have a recording of. And then I was sitting at the house on the phone. He came into the house starting screaming at me. I kept on asking him to please leave, please stop, please leave, please leave. He wouldn't. He continued to verbally attack me in an aggressive manner. I ended up calling 911 and I set the phone down. After he said what he felt he needed to say, he turned around and left. I picked up the phone and talked to dispatch. They asked me if I was okay. I told them yes, I was. They asked me if he had left. I said yes. They told me that there were officers en route, and I told them it wasn't necessary. I just needed them on the phone in the event something kind of gotten out of hand. I asked them to keep the recording in the event I needed it for later. They still sent an officer out. The officer spoke with me, told me if I needed anything else to get a hold of them. The next day I filed the PPO order. I filed the PPO order based upon the fact that I understand said circumstances of divorce can leave people in mental turmoil. I understand the long, lengthy history of PTSD, given his upbringing, his background, his work career. I understand all of that. What I will say is that for me, this has been very traumatizing, him coming into my home not once, but twice. Since the PPO order was filed, when I initially took it over to the sheriff's department, the sergeant that was on duty told me that from the minute the PPO order was signed, that it was valid. And I said, okay, well, what if I have a hard time having him served? And he's like, even if he were to call you, you can call us, and he would have to answer to the court for that. So in a sense, I felt kind of rest assured that even though there was a personal protection order, that I was somewhat protected. Moving forward, a few days ago, I was at my home, working in my bathroom, heard the dogs barking, turned around, and my son told me that Rob was there. I went out of the bathroom into the living room, and I seen him standing there, and he said that he was there to get some of his belongings. And I said, you cannot be here. I'm like, this can be dealt with when the divorce comes. You need to leave. And I'm like, you have a personal protection order. He wasn't understanding of that, started getting slightly verbally aggressive with me, and I handed him the personal protection order papers, and I said, please leave. He said, no, he wasn't leaving, that it was his fucking house, and that he was going to get the stuff that he had, that he wanted to get out of the garage. I then called 911. I told them.
What day was that?
That was the 25th of January. I called 911. I told them that I needed an officer immediately, and that I had a PPO order, and that the person it was against was standing in my home. They asked again, is he in the home? I said yes. They asked if I was in the home. I said yes. And I said, please send someone, and I hung up the phone. The altercation continued, where he was yelling and screaming at me, saying all sorts of horrible things to me. When he turned around and went to leave, I asked him if I could have my papers back. He had them. He said no. So as he went to move towards the door was open. And as he went to walk out, my couch is next to my door. I had kind of gotten on the couch and reached in front of him, touching the inside of my arm right here, touched the outside of his arm as I grabbed the papers. And I said, no, please leave. This resulted in him leaving. An officer ended up showing up, asking me questions in reference to if I had assaulted him. I was kind of dumbfounded, honestly, because no, I did not assault him. There was a conversation between me and the officer, and at that time he told me that Rob had went to his son's residence just down the road and had called the police, making a complaint that that I assaulted him while he was at my home. Here nor there. All I want is protection. I want to know that my home is a safe home, not only for me, but for my son and his girlfriend that lived there. I feel at this time, and since all of this has went on, my house is not safe. I am tired of the verbal abuse that I'm taking by him being upset about the fact that we filed for divorce. I tried to limit my contact. I honestly prefer not to talk to him, not to look at him, not have anything more to deal with.
Is it her
I'm
house?
trying to move on with my life, and at this point in time, knowing that he's openly admitted things in his paper, such as that he was in an extreme emotional state due to the initial impact that it had on him, stating that I was not caring for our animal that he took, stating that he has one gun that he's legally carried and 2 hunting long guns. I don't have the proof that of the guns that he had. I do have boxes of the various types of ammunition, and I also have a box that has a serial number on it for a shotgun that was purchased. So I feel in ways he's not being truthful in reference to the weapons that he has. I wish him nothing but the best for his mental stability, and I hope that he continues to get the help that he needs. But he's clearly indicated more than once that he is mentally unstable in ways, and it's concerning to me.
You said that at the time that you got the PPO, you were still living in the same household, or no?
To him, yes.
Well, I don't want to know what
Right.
everybody's impression was. I want to know who was actually.
No, he
living.
was not.
The PPO while living in the same household is very sketchy, only because it's just a way to get an advantage in terms of use of the house that you own together, most likely, and therefore I'm just very suspicious of it.
I was living in the home.
All right. So, because you said at one point after you decided to get divorced that you both were living in.
We were living in the same home, and then he turned around and one day didn't come back. So I'd have to go back through and look at the exact date, but he's been gone well over 30 days.
Just ballpark in relation to when you filed the PPO, how long had it been? prior to that?
A few weeks before that, yeah.
All right, and then, so I signed this PPO on January 8th, but he wasn't served until the 25th.
Correct.
Right, so did you do anything during that time period to let him know that there was a?
I didn't have any contact with him whatsoever.
Right, but did you request the sheriff's department?
Yes,
serve him?
the papers were taken to Kalkaska County. And the kind of hiccup with that was that the only address I physically knew where he would be at was his work, which was in Wexford County. And that's why that address is listed on the PPO order that I filed.
Okay.
The sergeant told me in Kalkaska County, because I had given them the location of where his son lived. They said that they would try and serve it, and I said, okay, in reference to service, will I get notified? And they're like, yeah, we'll give you a phone call, but we'll just take it over to the court. And so I kind of left it at that. So that's why there's that time.
All right, thank you. Sir, what is it that you want to say?
Well, I filed it because I've never wanted to start here ever in my life. Matter of fact, since our almost 30 years of being together and married, I've done anything and everything I could to pay this woman to support her. Bought her vehicles, bought her a motorcycle, gave her money to pay off credit. I tried to be the best husband I could. Now, I did screw up back in the early beginning, that I admit, but nothing physical with her. I never threatened her with any type of harm. So to address the situations from the time going on is I had been pretty much out of that house since the 1st of December. There was very minimal contact between us. Matter of fact, the majority of the contact was on her end, whether it be for bills, whether it be for taking her to work, giving her a ride home. That's the only time I've ever been to her work, was when she needed a ride, or I took her food. Matter of fact, just before Christmas, during the snowstorm, she was driving her son's vehicle and was having issues with it. And it was snowing like heck that day. She called me, wanted help. My son and I showed up to help her, offered 3 solutions. She got upset, said her mom's on her way. Okay, cool, no problem. We left. Anytime there's ever been any type of uprising out of me is when she has poked the bear and poked the bear and poked the bear. Like the argument leading up to that night of, or the next day of me going to the house was that she asked me about our medical insurance, because through my work, since I've been there, I've had medical insurance on her. And she wanted to know if medical insurance changed. I said, yes, it did. You knew this back in October. And you did the research and said it was a worse.
This guy makes sense, but he's not handling it well. He really needs an attorney, and he needs to stop. He basically is not over there, but she's just doing all this stuff to gain advantage in the divorce. It's clear to me. That doesn't mean he's perfect, but he just needs to stop helping her. She's using him. It's obvious. And he just is being nice. He doesn't even like her anymore. It's just his oh God.
Health insurance than what I had before. So you knew all about it. Then she just come unglued on me about how I messed up her infusions. Like all you had to do was simply ask me for a picture of the card, or I could have gave you a card they sent me too. And she's like, my name's probably not even on it. Yes, it is. I'm legally bound to carry medical insurance until our divorce is filed. So a lot of these arguments have been her calling me, texting me, blowing up on me to get a reaction out of me, which I've tried not to give a reaction at all.
Yes, I believe him.
Knowing how things are. And that's it. And then when she talks about shutting my cell phone off and say about the bill.
She's absolutely it's the standard playbook. Manufacture crisis, paint yourself as a victim, gain advantage. That's all this is. And he even recognizes it, but he doesn't know how to deal with it, which is just get the hell away completely. Send an attorney to do the best you can in terms of the settlement, and zero contact. Zero. If she's having a hard time in the snow, drive yourself. I don't care.
I just gave her a few days earlier $140 to pay for my cell phone bill. And like I said, I brought up in the past about money I had given her to pay off credit cards twice, so $1,500 a piece. I gave her $1,650 to put down on a motorcycle that she wanted. I've done all these things, all her lemonade stand and dirty soda and crafts and everything else, even though I don't do crafts, but I supported her in it. I got frustrated because, this is years ago too, not anything recent, but I've done nothing to support this woman and her children, all 4 of them. I still keep in contact with one right now who wrote a statement on my behalf of her experience, because she's 8 months pregnant, and I don't know if we can have witnesses or whatnot here. So anyways, leading up to that was the whole thing about the insurance. So I go to the bank to pull records, because I did have therapy. She asked me for a ride to put winter tires on her car that day. And I said, I can't, because I have my therapy appointment and I have my sleep study results I have to go to. Well, she got all upset about that. I have 2 doctor's appointments, I can't help it. Call me on a whim, taking care of my stuff. I've been going to therapy since October. I've been going to a psychologist since November.
I saw this coming down Main Street. It's all this subjective. I feel uncomfortable, and I don't like this. My favorite part is the guns. I grew up not here, but in the neighborhood. Okay, you're in the woods in northern Michigan. Everybody has freaking guns. Didn't bother it at all for years, but now she's going to try to use that as an advantage. He didn't do anything, but here we are.
And dealt with a lot of things, but I've never once threatened to hurt anybody but myself when I hit my low point, my ultimate low point. And when I had found some stuff out that she was doing, that she denies, but whatever, that's neither here nor there. But I hit my low. And it's been everywhere but up since And as for the guns, I do own 3 firearms. I own a 10mm Smith & Wesson that is at my son's house in his gun cabinet, a 12-gauge shotgun that I bought while we were together, and a 30-06 hunting rifle. That's it. Did I own prior handguns to that? Yes, I did. But the fact
This sounds like 80% of the population in northern Michigan. That is not strange.
that she doesn't realize is that 2 of those guns I sold to Ace buyers in Traverse City to either pay a couple bills or the last one was to buy stuff for her birthday. So I no longer have those 2 firearms. One was a Springfield XDM and the other one before that was so, and I purchased everything 100% legally, went through the background checks for my CPL. I have no prior history of any type of violence. I worked in fire and EMS for over 15 years. Yep, there's a lot of PTSD I got behind. I did, but I was always robbing Peter to pay Paul. To keep her and her son and her daughter when she lived there at the time, made sure everything was taken care of the best I could. My car got behind, my motorcycle got behind.
And that, again, that.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I'm trying to lead up to, you know, where all this hostility comes from for no reason. I've never been the hostile. So with the dog, I did take my dog because she threatened to get rid of him. And she's got 3 other dogs that she neglects to mention that she is threatened to get rid of too. So I took my dog and my dog went to my son's house before I left the house. Because I was worried about her getting rid of him. He's my buddy, he's my best friend, you know. She has 3 other dogs she forgot to mention. And she's told her daughter that she threatened to put her daughters asleep if she didn't take her. Supposedly her ex-husband Jason's supposed to take the other one. And then I don't know what happens with the white one, Mitchie, I don't know. So these are things, you know, leading up to that she wants to use against me, but there's always a reason why the actions that I do to prevent anything like that. Like I said, that one night I did hit rock bottom. I was in therapy before that, but I was just so overwhelmed with stuff that I found out. Okay, and I have not been that way since. I go.
Also, a man getting in his feelings never turns out well. Simping and getting in your feelings is pretty much the same thing. It's variations of the same issue.
Go to therapy every single week. I go to my psychiatrist every other week. They put me on 2 different medications for which I found out I had ADHD. I never knew I had that, you know. So now I know what a son feels like, where in my head, it was just everyday life. But now, you know, so I've been on medication for ADHD and my depression, and everything's been going great. Life's been going good. And I didn't know anything about that PPO since then, you know, and I have not contacted her, nothing. You know, she's upset because I still have a cell phone that she shut off that I've had with me to give back to her. I was kind of using that as, I want my stuff, my kids got stuff there, you know, in the garage. The only stuff I ever took out of the house was work clothes, a couple of personal, like this shirt and my medication and a few personal hygiene products and my guns. Cause she wanted to know where they were, because I was told that she was selling my stuff. So I don't know how much of my stuff I have left. I don't even know if that's true. They could have made that up. I don't know. She might not have sold anything. It's just what her family's telling me.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Precourt, anything else that you want to say?
Well, Your Honor, there's a lot of he said, she said, of course, in reference to it. The point I want to make out is, you know, there's things that he's openly admitted in reference to why I initially filed the PPO order. He also admits to coming over to the house and that there was a verbal argument, that it wasn't pretty. And I'm not saying he's ever physically laid a hand on me. What I'm saying is it's verbal altercations, the slandering, the things that he's saying, the hostility behind it, in my home, in front of my face, on my phone, all of the things is what is concerning, knowing his mental instability, hoping that he turns it around. I wish nothing but the best for him. That's all I've ever wanted for him. But what I'm saying is amongst him trying to do that, I need to be left alone.
You suck. How's that? You absolutely suck.
I want to feel safe in my own home. I want to feel protected. And like I said, there's audio recordings where you can hear his demeanor and his tone of voice versus how he's speaking here for a clearer understanding of the things that I've encountered and had to deal with.
Well, look, I mean, I know nobody's talking to me here in this courtroom the way that you talk to each other in your own home. So
Yes. What I'm saying is that, you know, I don't want to have these altercations.
You've done a bunch of nasty stuff. If he said something nasty to you, you know what? That's okay. If it hurts your feelers, you know what? That's okay. That's not a problem. You admitted right here he's never really threatened you or done anything.
Anymore. I want it to be done and over with. I understand that, you know, he's a former firefighter, as am I. I understand that he's an EMT, and I understand that he likes to hunt, and therefore he has a CBL and he wants to keep it. But there's a consequence sometimes for actions, you know, when it comes down to forms of domestic violence. Quite frankly, I've had my fair share of it, and the way that this ended up turning out to be is another form of it. Even though it's only verbal, it's still a form of domestic violence. And I've literally had it the majority of my life, and quite frankly, I'm
Garbage.
exhausted from it. I'm very, very exhausted from it.
Garbage.
Can I just say one more thing? Sure. Once this is over and I get my stuff, I guarantee you there will be absolutely no contact, because I want the same for her. You know, I want her to feel safe in her home. I want her to live her life and me live my life. I have no ill feelings at all. I just want to.
Well, that's a problem. You should. She's been horrible to you. Get some self-esteem. That's a major part of your issue. But yes, one police walk through to grab whatever's left, hire an attorney to the extent that there are assets to divide, do the best you can, and never speak to this despicable person ever again. This isn't difficult.
Move on. I want my stuff. And that's the only time I've ever been there, or, you know, anything. I want my stuff.
Okay.
And I promise you, there will never be a problem from my end in the future. So.
That brings me to my next question, because, you know, one of the things we have here is Ms. Precourt's, you're asking the court to finalize the divorce today. And it sounds like we have some issues. What property do you believe is still at the house?
Well, Your Honor, all my clothes. I literally live out of a gym bag. My clothes, my personal items, such as, you know, like I've got an RC car there. I've got motorcycle parts there. My son's got stuff there. Generator, lawnmower.
All right, everything that you accumulated over the last 11 years.
You know, it's just, and I'm more than willing to be fair about stuff. But I have sentimental stuff for my mother when she passed away, you know, and just stuff like that. I don't plan, and I told her before, I said, I don't want any of the furniture. Oh, my bed, my dresser, my nightstand, that was my mother's from when she was alive. Like I said, she passed in 2010 from cancer.
My man, she sold the Hummels already. I guarantee it.
You know.
All right. What about, you guys have debts that you need to divide up?
No, she has hers.
There are bills that are in both of our names, utility bills, and I paid for them the last month. They are due again. I believe I have them with me in reference to, his name is on them, my name is on them, so.
What about the house? Is that in both of your names?
The house is in my mother's name. My mother owns it.
Okay, so that's not an issue.
Oh, fantastic. It's not his house.
And honestly,
run like hell.
It's been an issue.
No, I'm just trying to understand property issues here. And
all the
what we
better.
can do to facilitate things being divided up. And when can you retrieve your personal
One trip, grab the crap you want, never look back. The end. This is easy. Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
property? Do we have agreements on what's yours and what's not? So what do you say about that?
And throughout our marriage, he's had his bank account, you know, he's done his thing, I've done my thing. We've kind of commonly paid certain bills. Sometimes we've put money together, that kind of a thing. I know that he has debt that occurred before we got together. As far as his debt since we got together, that's his and mine is mine kind of a thing. I was willing to kind of go through and split everything 50-50, but what I will say is since all of this happened, things have started coming up missing from the home, whether it be something inside the house, outside the house, whatever. I would like to assume that it was at times when he showed up and I wasn't there to get some of his stuff. I've never changed the locks. The doors have been open, that kind of a thing, until the PPO order. You know, there were times when we both wanted to get together and actually go through stuff. This was before it kind of got ugly here. I was willing to give him whatever he wanted. Some of the stuff that he is speaking of is sitting at the house. It's been sitting there. His clothes are in bags waiting for it to be picked up. But there are other things like a generator or a salamander or things like that where we pulled money together for that, and therefore it is marital property and it should be divided accordingly. What I will say is that yeah, he's had healthcare insurance on me. I have a rare autoimmune disease that costs, my one infusion alone cost over $200,000 a year. Technically, I should be labeled disabled. I should not be working, but due to like circumstances, incomes and whatnot, I've been forced to have to work. You know, it's been a long, lengthy road. And like I said, there's a lot, but when it comes down to him needing his things, I don't have a problem with giving him his things. But there are some things like other assets such as motorcycles that we were selling to my son that's in his name, you know,
All right,
alcohol things.
it sounds like there's more than just some basic belongings here. So here's what we're going to do for purposes of today's hearing on both the cases. I don't think we're certainly not ready to enter a judgment on divorce today, because it sounds like there are issues that need to be either agreed upon by the two of you, and if you can't agree on it, then I would have to make the decision of who gets what. There's a step that we do in between that called mediation, and that's online, so you don't have to be in the same room together. Wouldn't have anything to do with PPO or anything else, but it's facilitated by a trained mediator. They try to find where the agreements are, where the disagreements are, and then they try to negotiate a settlement between the two of you about who's going to get what. And again, it's an online process, so it's very non-threatening. So I'm going to order that you participate in that, because then you can each go through your list of what you want, what you don't want, things that you both want. They'll try to, you know, find ways to divide those things up so that each of you gets an equal amount of property. So I'm going to refer it to the community mediation. They will be in contact with you to set up a date and a time that works for both of you. My sense of this is that, number one, I'm going to keep the PPO in place until the divorce is final. That way, there's a period of separation. I think, given, you know, the circumstances, I don't think it's a good idea for the two of you to have direct contact. I think if you do it through a mediator, that's a completely different situation. And I think things need to stay status quo until this is resolved from a divorce standpoint. I really get the sense that once the divorce is final here, that the two of you are going to be able to go on your own way. At that point, there wouldn't be any reason for you to contact her. Everything will be divided up. The divorce will be final. There'd be absolutely no reason for you to have any contact with her at that point. That's also going to give you both, in addition to the time that you've had since this was entered, and really since you found out about it, which was only on January 25th, so just a couple of weeks ago. It's going to give some time while we have this mediation process work itself out for the two of you to be separated with no contact and let things cool down. And then once that mediation is completed, which can probably happen within the next month, I'll set this for another hearing. If you've been able to agree on everything through mediation, then we can finalize the divorce. I think at that point, based on what I'm hearing today, I think I may be in a position to, you know, either shorten or terminate the PPO again, because I think at that point there's going to be any reason for there to be contact. it'll prevent any contact between now and then, so you have a sense of security. You know, nobody's coming to your house, nobody's gonna be trying to remove any property or trying to contact you directly in any way.